in cold blood, premeditated style, for no apparent reason other than his interest in darkness, death, and weapons. I found a very good summary of this case on Reddit, written by Rachel Boo 32. This was written 2 years ago. Now this case took place in 2010. Alright. So, I'm going to share this post. Which is in front of me on my computer. Okay. So it started off innocently enough. Joshua Davies was attending the same school as a girl named Rebecca Aylward. Both were praised by teachers as being bright and promising students. Quiet and studious, too. Joshua was seen as a bit of an attention seeker by peers. Now, side note, I did watch some clips of news and other such things on this case, and I did hear his friends talking about how he was a person who had quite an ego, and he was always right, and he was always the smartest, that kind of person. The pair fell into a friendship. Rebecca's mother trusted Davies, and considering that he told her he would always take care of her, it seemed she had nothing to worry about. It was a common occurrence just spreading all rumors and about her and just telling people she's a terrible person. Just like Joshua's friend said that it was almost like the most important thing for him to say to people. Like the first thing he would say to somebody if he met them was, "Hey, this girl, she's terrible." He was just trying to get everyone to hate her. So Davies began making comments to his friends to try to convince them how terrible of a person Rebecca was, that the world would be better off with her dead, that even if he were leaving the She was doing her hair and makeup. Her mother says that she was even dancing, both excited and happy at the idea of getting back together with Joshua. She even bought a new outfit for the occasion. The meetup didn't go exactly as planned. Rebecca was alone in the city where they planned on meeting and ended up speaking with her mother about not seeing Joshua right away. So I guess she arrived there, she didn't see him, and she texted her mother. That's what I'm guessing. Or calling. I don't know if it's a text or a phone call. Her mother was worried about the situation, but calmed upon hearing Rebecca say that she saw Joshua. Her mother made sure that it was really Josh and noted that it was odd because typically Joshua was very talkative and she could hear him in the background. He was silent on this day. Rebecca confirms that he is there, says she loves her mother and will see her soon. Her mother recalls her sounding happy at this time. At some point after this, Joshua convinces Rebecca to go into the woods with him, where they often spend time together. At this point, okay, here it's gonna get a little graphic, so if you don't want to hear anything graphic, click ahead about 20 seconds. At this point, he attempted to snap her neck and took a rugby-sized rock and surprised the girl, expecting to re-enter a relationship with him by smashing the rock repeatedly into her head until she was dead. Totally sick. Just killed her for absolutely no reason whatsoever. And as we see in a lot of these stories, what did he think was going to happen? How did he expect to get away with this? Especially when he was texting his friends about, doing it and all. What was he literally thinking? I mean, they said he was smart, in school, so what in the world? Joshua then spoke with his friends when asked if he was with Rebecca, laughed and said define with. See, he's so, completely, remorseless. He's happy that he did it, he's laughing. Rebecca was not answering her calls, and her mother became very worried. It was extremely out of character for her to not answer her phone. Her mother was frantically calling around to friends of Rebecca. When Joshua finally answered his phone, being the last person Rebecca was known to be with, Rebecca's mother expected him to know where Rebecca was. To her surprise, Joshua claimed to have been at his grandmother's all day with friends. After this call, making statuses to Facebook trying to validate his alibi, as well as a post saying that he felt bad for Rebecca's mother, when a comment came up asking why he claimed that it must be difficult having her daughter go missing. Okay, now get this. So nothing happens till the next day. When Joshua brings a friend to see Rebecca's body in the forest, he told him, "Do you know how hard it is to break someone's neck?" She was screaming, and I picked up the rock and started to hit her with it. The worst part was feeling and seeing her skull give way. Now imagine this friend, okay, who probably didn't expect to see anything, and is brought to the forest, and this is what he sees, and this is what he hears. The friend cracked under the guilt and pressure and admitted to knowing that Joshua killed the girl. Police found Rebecca's body covered in mud his Facebook from prison, claiming to be innocent, and the next Amanda Knox. All while still having the forest where Rebecca was murdered as his profile picture. And get this, he is allowed access to the internet and a PS3, that's a PlayStation 3, in prison. Now don't wonder why it's not a PlayStation 4 or 5. He went to prison in maybe like 2011. Okay, but he was supposed to be barred from social media, but clearly he wasn't if he was using Facebook. And that's what they have here in this Reddit post. The most recent article I found is from 2018 that talks about how it's been 7 years, okay? Let's see, it's called 7 Years for a Life. Mum's fury as killer who beat schoolgirl to death with a rock for a fry-up bet is entitled to apply for early release after just 7 years. This is from The Sun, which is a UK newspaper. So he served half of his 14-year minimum sentence, and now, not now, but this was September 28th, 2018 was the article. He decided to admit his guilt, okay? And people believe it's because he wants to get out, so he's saying, I've been a model prisoner. I want to admit that I actually did this, and I'm sorry for it. He is 23 at that time, so I guess now he is either 25 or 26, depending when his birthday is. And he wants to try to get out, right? He can apply to have his sentence cut by up to 6 years. He would be assessed by prison service officials who would decide whether to refer it to a high court judge. Obviously, Rebecca's family is 100% against him getting out of prison. I mean, look what he did. Come on now. Why should he get out? Someone like that, who commits a crime